how can we ensure that this Men's World Cup in 26, we're also starting to build towards 31. And we're not looking at them separately necessarily. We're looking at them together.
Well, I appreciate you sitting down with us, Monica. I just kind of want to, this World Cup that's coming, it's, the biggest sporting event that will come to North Texas for generations to come. And you've been, leading the entire charge for it. And I just want to go back to the beginning. How long have you personally been working on this project?
Well, this specific World Cup, I got the call in July of 2017 that another bid was coming out for the 2026 World Cup. If I take it even further than that, June of 2009, we received the bid documents for 2018 and 2022. So we had a little trial run there, weren't successful, but this bid process is over 8 years old now that we've been working on the road to 2026.
What did you learn from the first process that you applied to this next one?
One of the ways that this is probably most different is that you're actually fighting for your country to be hosting the World Cup first. So it was a very different process all along. One of the other differences or learning lessons from the first time we were able to do this was having the context, the network, knowing who the players were, who were going to be able to lean in to help you this next time around. You're so busy collecting very short amount of information that was asked for the bid process that you kind of maybe sometimes forget to put the full picture together, your full bid together, so that you're prepared for, hey, when your country is selected, now really be out there to represent your city. And I think we did a fantastic job of bringing those people together earlier, all the stakeholders earlier in 2017 and 2018.
And so you mentioned you've been working on this. Is a project that's 8 years in the making. What was it like towards the beginning and versus how it is now? Is there proportions of it that were more stressful than others, faster paced than others? How did that work?
Oh, I think the most stressful day was the day where host cities were announced.
Okay.
We were in this candidate host city phase, June 2018, right before Russia. FIFA announced that the World Cup would be coming to North America in 2026. So we had the opportunity to kind of go see that. We also had COVID that took place.
Yeah.
So there was a little bit of a downtime where normally we would have been working maybe to get to that announcement of a host city a little sooner rather than when it actually occurred. So the nerve-wracking part is sitting around and continuing to pitch, and that day of not knowing whether you were going to see your city's name up there. And like you said, sometimes once in a generation opportunity, knowing how excited people were from 1994 and still talk about it, to possibly have your city's name not be on that list was almost unimaginable for me. But I know why Dallas and the North Texas region is so great. I know why a lot of corporations call it home, or our sports teams are so successful and we're not named #1 sports business city. But and I assume everybody else should know that as well, and sometimes that's not always the case. So probably the next key marker was the match schedule announcement. And really, since named as host city, how are you trying to further your city to really position to have the most matches, generate the most economic impact, provide the most opportunity for your community?
And I remember that day we were covering, just the match schedule. It had been reported for years that Dallas was the final, and they didn't get the final, but you got more matches. You got the IBC now, and I know it was a personal goal of Dan and this committee to get that the IBC and everything, just for the economic impact that it brings. Can you just talk more about how that process went about?
Yeah, I think from the very beginning, and even in the previous bid opportunity for 2018 and 2022, and knowing how important the International Broadcast Center was in 1994 out at Fair Park, the chance to have 3,000, 4,000 media and staff and FIFA officials here for a 3-month period of time almost and really try to get our messaging as a global destination and have information about Dallas and North Texas area distributed all through the world. Sometimes you can't put a price tag on that, and there's a lot of value as we continue to grow and want to see our region grow globally here over the next 10 or so years. So that was always a key piece. Yes, 9 matches more than any other host city was humbling at the same time. Will I say that there might have been some disappointment that we didn't host the finals? Absolutely, but I think what you learned from that is this entire bid committee, this host committee, organizing committee, we're always going to shoot for the top. We want to ensure that we're hosting the biggest and the best and creating win-win partnerships and just being overall good partners at the end of the day. And, I think we're about to embark on a FIFA Women's World Cup bid, and I don't think you would see us change our approach of what we want to see come 2031 either.
I was going to go into that as, obviously the final there is obviously the goal for that one as well.
Oh, yes. I think we have a great opportunity in front of us to grow soccer, continue to grow soccer past 2026. In this upcoming World Cup on the grassroots stage, you've got Dallas Trinity FC, our first professional women's soccer team right here locally. This is a great additional platform and runway for them to generate long-term success. This is a Women's World Cup will also benefit FC Dallas and Atletico as well. So I think instead of maybe only 1 year away from a World Cup, I'm trying to look at it, how can we ensure that this Men's World Cup in 26, we're also starting to build towards 31. And we're not looking at them separately necessarily. We're looking at them together already.
And then so, as we're however many months away from the Men's World Cup, what are you working on right now? And for that specific tournament, what's your life like?
Yes. Well, we've got probably over 18, 20 different working groups from safety, security, focus groups and expert planning teams, the transportation planning with North Central Texas Council of Governments and DART and Trinity Metro. We've got planning teams around sustainability, human rights, marketing, communications, PR, legacy elements of, what are the opportunities throughout the region. Volunteer opportunities, that's about to kick off. Opportunities August 11th is when people can register for specific assignments as it relates to the World Cup. And truthfully, there's city services, fan festival, entertainment type of planning that's taking shape, International Broadcast Center planning. But, at the end of the day, we also have to be able to pay the bills in hosting a World Cup. So the host city supporter program, our donor program, ability for people to purchase tickets to all 9 matches at AT&T Stadium is really kind of front and center right now as we go into this fall time period. We will be announcing, a road to the World Cup, other ancillary events that host city supporters and donors will have access to and can really be a part of our future and the legacy that this World Cup can bring and then springboard off into 2031. So it's really turning mostly into a fundraising because we feel like our operating and working groups are doing some really good work and have been over the last year and a half, 2 years.
And then whenever the field kind of finalizes itself and everything, and base camps come in, are there any dream list of nations that you guys would like to host here? Or is there do you have the ones that you want to go after? Or?
Well, I think we have the list of the ones that have great history in World Cups and those that have won before, have some of the top stars or up and coming stars, or from my perspective, I want the ones that are also going to have great spectator travel. Yes. I think there's some unique opportunities too, since this is the largest World Cup to date with the expansion from 32 teams to 48 teams. There are already certain teams that have never been to a World Cup before. I think that's a pretty special moment in itself. So I'm trying to look at it holistically. I'm trying to look at matchups too of, hey, what could possibly, here's who we have in our group stage when that's announced at the draw in December. But man, if this one, wins here or finishes in this level in this group, this matchup could be taking place here in North Texas.
So, you're like, because the match schedule's already, you can kind of mapping these out and seeing what potential matchups you can get.
Yeah, once the draw takes place in December, you can really start to draw out who may be here in that semifinal or some of those knockout round matches that we'll be hosting.
And then I wanted to get into, like, how are you guys wanting to utilize the Hall of Fame? That's a very specific thing that only we have.
Yes, I think it would be a huge miss if we, aren't actively promoting people to get up to Frisco and see the National Hall of Fame, Soccer Hall of Fame, and what they have there, the history of soccer here within this country, both on the men's side and women's side. There is some memorabilia there from the 1994 World Cup that was hosted here. And, I think from a broadcaster standpoint, from a fan, media standpoint, just your overall general spectator, I think it would be a real miss. And, you could definitely spend half a day over there looking at everything that they have. And, Toyota Stadium most likely will be a base camp during this time period as well. And I would anticipate that a strong, higher profile maybe team will be located out there.
And then you mentioned before how Fair Park was utilized last time as the IBC. Now it's going to be the Fan Festival. What can people in the area expect from that area of town?
Yeah, actually, Fair Park is looking to have not only a FIFA Fan Festival for 39 days, and I'll expand upon that here shortly. It will be a venue-specific training site, so one of the teams that will be playing out at AT&T Stadium will actually be practicing at Cotton Bowl Stadium as well. SMU is the other venue-specific training site. We'll look to have our volunteer center out at Fair Park as well, and that's be operational from November of 2025 all the way through July of 26. But that FIFA Fan Festival, that is 39 straight days, free and open to the public. Every match will be broadcast there. There will be a food and soul, I think, concert series as well. All of FIFA's commercial partners will be out there. That's a location that all of our host city supporters will be able to activate. There's some, VIP elements that'll be in premium access that'll be activated.
Okay.
So really want to create like a Dallas feel. Every host city in certain capacity should have a FIFA Fan Festival. We're going to go kind of with a traditional FIFA Fan Festival model. Looking right now between 35 and 40,000 people at one time. So it's not the full State Fair of Texas and taking.
I was going to ask about that. Is
it
like, do you take any learnings from those folks or?
Oh, I think we definitely take some learnings on traffic control, safety, security, planning, and what works for them. This will be a smaller footprint than a State Fair of Texas, but it will be free. We want those. We know that not everybody is going to be able to get a ticket into the World Cup at the stadium or in any of the 104 matches that will take place. So this is a great opportunity to also be able to see some legends and have that soccer interaction. And, when people come to our fan festival and maybe they've been to another city, we really want them to, oh man, Dallas was the best fan festival, but it also feels like the DFW area and, felt different than maybe their experience in another city.
I want to touch on that because what went into kind of the strategy of how to brand North Texas to the rest of the world? And just like with, the logos and, like the music and all the poster and like what kind of work went into all those things? Yeah,
we worked directly with FIFA and their marketing team and their strategy team on that. Actually, every host city had the opportunity to put out to their community for artists to design our host city poster. Same thing that went into the Sonic ID, and we had two great artists, but on the Sonic ID, they're looking for a producer that can really make the general FIFA Sonic ID feel like each of the host cities. And we think that Trey did a fantastic job in kind of mixing some of the different musics and styles, and a great mixture of both the Dallas and the Fort Worth.
Yeah.
I think going into this, it was important for us to show some unity within, from a regional standpoint, knowing that each of the cities is a little bit different and maybe have a different focus or a different flair, and knowing that we're going to be welcoming the world and a lot of international visitors here, wanted to try to set ourselves apart there in that. So had worked with both artists throughout the Metroplex to submit options for the poster.
Yeah.
And then FIFA worked directly with Trey and then selected him. And in terms of the logo and the colors and all of that, FIFA did a pretty extensive study with all host cities on what some of the adjectives and things that we were known for here. A lot of nonstop spirit, energy, revenue and entrepreneurial, maverick can-do spirit. And I think that's where a lot of the green came into play.
Sense. Okay. And then I know over the years, the FIFA delegation has made multiple site visits and stuff. What were some of the things that you took feedback from them that they either both liked and thought needed improvement?
One of the key things that we thought might be a overall challenge from the beginning was on the transportation front. Just no public mass transportation out to Arlington and near the stadium. But I have to say that Michael Morse, North Central Texas Council of Governments, was able to put together a really great plan. And working with the transit agencies, Trinity Metro, DART, in the ability to really transport those credential holders around, but then put a good plan in together to get those ticket holders and spectators out to Arlington on match day. So that was something that we were kind of going into a little nervous about, but it actually ended up being good and how that all came together. I mean, obviously AT&T Stadium, when you're doing a site visit at AT&T Stadium and knowing the type of facility, the type of amenities that go along with that compared to maybe other cities or other stadiums throughout the world and the country. Some of the times, this is the first time that some of these delegates have been in AT&T Stadium.
Yeah.
So to see their reaction was pretty, special, and be like, wow, this is amazing, and we can see definitely how AT&T Stadium continues to host some of the best and world-class events that have taken shape there. I think they can then easily see how a World Cup could fit there.
Yeah.
They've had the experience then in other site visits after some of the preliminary ones to actually experience events there and see firsthand how it operates and the class and the level that facility and that team operate at. So, those were, some of the two top ones. I think they also easily recognize hey, this region has learned to work together. I think they feel there's an entrepreneurial, that can-do spirit I mentioned earlier, of like, hey, we really want this to be successful for FIFA, but also for our city and our region. And whether you call it Texas hospitality, and there's probably other adjectives that you can talk through about that. But I think it comes out in the true intent of all of our host committee and the bid committee and our community leaders throughout the region.
And then when we talked to Dan before, he brought up something that I hadn't thought about before, but he said, and I want to get your take on this, is that he mentioned that this World Cup, there's never really been an Americanized tailgating culture around a World Cup before. And then a lot of fans or people that might come here will learn about Texas American culture and tailgating. And I wanted to see what you thought about that. And then you have all the parking passes. People pay so much for parking passes along with their tickets to go with it. And so FIFA really enjoyed that aspect as well.
Yeah, I think that's going to be interesting, just to see how FIFA kind of operates and sets up their footprint. So I think you're going to see an extended footprint around AT&T Stadium. So there might not be as much opportunity to tailgate. Yes, and some of those Rangers lots are maybe a little further away from the stadium. I think that's definitely an opportunity. I think there's going to be some other activations that are, tried to be created, because We definitely want people to like feather their way out to the stadium, but then have other opportunities for them to stay maybe a little bit later, just so our transportation system works well. But I think one of the keys that, regardless if it's tailgating, whether it's taking a trip out to the stockyards in Fort Worth or enjoying some of what downtown Dallas has to offer, other places throughout the Metroplex, we definitely want to get those opportunities in front of the spectators. Just to have, Dallas, an American type of experience. When that's anywhere from food to different cultural experiences. Working with the Rangers to try to, or in Major League Baseball and some of the other leagues to try to identify, not playing on match days when we have matches here, but providing those opportunities for those fans to stay around maybe a little bit longer.
Yeah, and then I wanted to talk about just like what are people that are going to come to DFW going to get that they might not get elsewhere, from like a spectator standpoint?
Well, I think one, they have the opportunity to see maybe the most number of matches that they can fit in based off of their travel pattern and squeezing that in. I think there's great opportunity and synergies in Dallas and Houston because of proximity to take in more matches as well. I think they're going to get a blended experience because of how our region is set up. And the diversity of opportunities that we see here. And I think they're going to feel welcome regardless of what city they're in here in the Metroplex, to try some of the foods and go to see some of the attractions and really the reasons why we love living here. I think some of them may have preconceived notions of here's exactly what Dallas is or DFW is or the North Texas region just because of maybe previous TV shows with the name Dallas,
like Dallas.
or Dallas, exactly. Or, hey, not everyone, is walking around
with a cowboy
hat and riding horses. So, I think it's going to be a great experience for them to see. Here is the modern version of the DFW area, and we truly are a global city and have a lot of things to offer.
Can you walk me through what the IBC, because I mean it's right down the street, like how is that going to like kind of function? Because I understand that broadcasters from all over the world are coming here, but like is it like there'll be broadcast booths set up and like Fox Sports is being there, BBC, and all, like how does that work?
Yes, so FIFA is 100% responsible for really setting that International Broadcast Center up, and they'll start moving in January 14th of 2026.
Okay.
But they will design out the individual booths for each country that they have in there. Typically, Fox does have a big studio in there as well as many of the other stations. Sometimes even outside in key areas within the city, they will set up broadcast compounds just to give some more of that action that takes place in really key areas throughout the region. But yeah, it will start operating 24/7 around the end part of May. And you'll see that operation for those broadcasters that, we're looking time zones, all the people from all across the world.
That's true, yeah.
That feed will come directly out of the K. Bailey Hutchinson Convention Center here in Dallas, all the way to their prospective countries that they're shooting back to. So a great opportunity, I think, to share a lot of our messaging with them. And already working with the various cities throughout the region to identify what are those key facts that people may not know about Grapevine or Fort Worth or Frisco or Irving or whatever it may be. How can we get that information in front of them? So, hey, if they want to go visit it, that's great. But if they want to talk about it as well, they have that option.
And then, with them coming in, for the people that are local to here and live here, what kind of effect do you think with the foot traffic that's going to come along with that? How can people expect that and when can they kind of expect that shift to change where you kind of walk around and you notice, oh, there's a lot more people here?
Well, I think you're going to see that toward the end of May, because I think you're going to see the broadcasters and media start really coming in here.
Yeah.
You may see some trickle in April
Yeah.
as they continue to build out here at the Convention Center. I think FIFA's the officials and utilizing this as their tournament operations center. You'll start to see some of their staff beginning of May start to really build out here. Some of the other commercial teams that are building out the FanFest footprint. I definitely know you'll start to see probably in the March-April time period, maybe some decor elements start to go up throughout the Metroplex that really speak to soccer, that exhibit some of the Dallas 2026 branding. Some of our host city supporters, thanking them wanting to really support some of the different initiatives. So I think you'll start to feel that heartbeat and some of that branding and just that excitement start to build in the early spring.
And something that we've been kind of curious about is whenever it's time for the World Cup and spectators to come here, how do they get around? Is there like an app that they can use, or how does that whole process work?
Yeah, so FIFA is actually developing an app. We are awaiting some additional information on the breadth and scope of what is all in that app, but we're hopeful that, probably many of the ticket holders and spectators are going to go to many cities. So it makes sense to have everything for each city on one app. We want to know about that integration, but hopefully, the transportation information, of how to get out to the stadium, or where the different Dart Light Rail stops, or the timing of the FIFA fan festivals, other ancillary events or watch parties, restaurant information, cultural activities or festivals that may be planned on off days, and really that one-stop shop for them is what we're hoping this app ends up being, but we're still waiting for a little bit more information from FIFA.
And so whenever they kind of get that app going, is that some information that you guys give to them of like, these are all the different things that you want to incorporate, or?
Yeah, that's what we're hopeful, and that's what we're kind of understanding the process to be. So those lists of here the can't miss, restaurants, you must go here for the best margarita, or the, best brisket taco, or whatever it may be. We're hopeful to be able to work with our regional partners here to feed that information into the app. And
then I know this is something that people want to know about. So like with ticketing, I know ticketing is the tickets aren't available yet, but can you get into how the process of, because I want to say, isn't World Cup ticketing a little different than how we normally do it?
Yes, actually, and you can get tickets right now.
The luxury packages, yeah.
Yeah, we've got suite packages and lounge package options with hospitality for all 9 matches, 8 matches, 6, 4, and 2.
Yeah.
I think there's a follow your team opportunity too. As we wait to see who all qualifies, but you could actually go ahead and buy first right to be able to purchase entire package to follow your team. So there was a deposit program as well that FIFA had. It basically is your, I would say, fast pass, but your time to wait in line for the ticket opportunity to come up. Now you can actually go to FIFA.com/tickets to register for the opportunity when tickets do go on sale. It's very much kind of like a lottery system of when it's your time, you'll be notified. It may not be for a specific match. You may not get tickets for your specific match that was your first choice, but you may get, then you have that opportunity to pick and choose if you're interested in the tickets that are provided there for you.
Is there a ballpark of how much a single ticket costs, or do you know? Or?
We don't have that. We don't have that just yet. So anticipating, August and September time period for some of those individual tickets to. And that some of that information to start trickling out.
And then the last thing I'll ask you about, because what does a typical day like for you right now look like? With I know you just went to New York with the other delegates.
Oh yes.
So I mean, what are those meetings like with FIFA? Like when you go off into these different cities?
Well, my day is never Groundhog Day. I can promise you that. We could be, when we went to New York, we went and basically all host cities met with over 50, 60 media representatives for our 1 year to go type of celebration, where we're talking, a lot of it talking about the planning process. there could be different lobbying efforts for whether it's federal funding, state funding.
Yeah.
This morning I was talking with the Dallas Regional Chamber and their board of directors and giving them an update. So I do a lot of updates throughout the region. Staff meeting that took place with everyone so that we can kind of continue the progression of the operational elements to hosting a World Cup. Trying to, spread the message of where we're at as much as we can. There's a lot of stakeholders and a lot of people that are very excited about the World Cup, and we try to do our best to communicate what we know. There's still a lot we don't know, and a lot I think that will continue to change and evolve until we know who until the draw takes place in December and we know what teams are actually here. That's when we know the match times, and that's when you can really start to firm up some of your planning, whether it's safety, security, operational of Fan Fest, and where we're going to put other watch parties and fan zones throughout the Metroplex. So we know everybody's excited. We're very excited for the opportunity for volunteers to start signing up in August, because it's been a long time coming. And we know that is also something that this region prides itself on.
When you bring up the volunteers, what can they expect if they're selected? Like what does that entail?
Well, that's going to entail working 9 shifts throughout the 39-day period. That will entail a full FIFA uniform through one of their partners, Adidas. So hats and jackets, polos and shoes, and a few gifts kind of along the way for appreciation of working those 9 different ships. But some of those volunteer roles are directly with FIFA. Some of those are with us from an organizing committee, and that could mean working out at the stadium or a fan festival or in the volunteer center or here in the city center, whether it's here in Dallas, Fort Worth, Arlington, airport opportunities. But volunteers in some instances are the first face that our visitors see. And in some instances are one of the most critical pieces for us to be successful. So we have some great ambassadors here, and really looking forward to sharing this opportunity with them.
Like you said, Texas hospitality.
Exactly.
And then, so my final question is a little two-parter. First, what would, like, from your role, and like you said, you've been doing this for about a decade now or longer. What are you most looking forward to, when the World Cup comes around? And then secondly, what do you want the legacy of this World Cup to be?
I caution myself sometimes to say, I am ready for the World Cup to be here, because I know also the long list of stuff we have left to do in ensuring that we're successful. But I also, when you see an event in action, and sometimes it's not only about what happens on the pitch in the stadium, the action that's taking place there, but when you really get to engage with some of the youth and the community events and the volunteers and fan festival and see the passion and the culture and everything that takes shape. I've been to Russia and Qatar, had the fortune of being able to go and see that, and there's an energy that it's hard to explain unless you've been there as a part of it. And I've been to a lot of major events, but there is something really special about a World Cup. And to be able to share that, and some people's first time of being able to see a World Cup, I think is pretty special. Legacy is always going to be a key piece of what we're trying to build here. Yes, we have legitimate expenses to cover: safety, security, transportation, a lot of other things, FIFA fan festivals, that sort of thing. But really building out the legacy, being able to hit certain, underserved areas, providing equipment to those areas, opportunity for education for coaches, and really how do we utilize this Men's World Cup of 2026 to really elevate the women's game and those opportunities across the board, to be as inclusive as we possibly can, and really utilize this World Cup, and maybe not only for soccer growth and legacy, but there are sustainability initiatives, there are human rights, homelessness and the unsheltered population. How can certain things that we're building right now help into the future? And utilize really this World Cup to do some really powerful things here for this region. We had, I think, over 100 submissions from a poster standpoint all throughout the region. And we're really inspired by what Matt was able to provide. I think FIFA liked it too. This will be a poster and merchandise that people from around the world can, can purchase. But thought it was a nice blend and simplistic, maybe blend too, of Dallas and the skyline. The cowboy, which would give a little bit more nod from a Fort Worth standpoint, integrating the soccer ball on the top of Reunion Tower.
That was clever.
I thought that was kind of unique, and FIFA staff really enjoyed that. So we're excited to be able to put that forth as our poster. North Texas FIFA World Cup Organizing Committee consists of Dan Hunt and Nina Vaca, which we had just announced as our co-chairs. I serve as the president. And then we also have Adam Magoo, Chad Estes, Jimmy Smith, and Andy Swift. All have really been a part of our team through the bid phase as well. So we wanted to ensure that there is some continuity with this group and actually looking long-term too towards that Women's World Cup. So I want to ensure that people are invested from a soccer standpoint, but can have a regional lens as well. In addition to that, we've brought on a team to help us with the work that needs to be done. A lot of my sports commission team continues to work on World Cup, but we also have, another 70, 85 events a year. So their primary focus are on some of the other events. So we put together a team across from marketing, those who are working on city service, safety, security, liaison, sustainability, human rights, et cetera, to really focus on bringing this World Cup to fruition so that we can be successful.